they could, and it didn't look much different from the outside when I got through it than it did before, except that it was in good repair.
La Morada is a building. It's a holy place like a church. Years ago it used to be that the penitentes, like the Brotherhood of Jesus, used to be the counselors in the community. They were the ones that guided other people. They were, if there was any trouble, anyone trying to hurt somebody else, or anyone trying to do something wrong, they were the ones that were consulted. These were elderly people. These were over 80 years old up to 105 years old that were the penitentes. In those days, all the men belonged to the fraternidad, which they called it. And their rituals were secret and sacred. It still are. It was beautiful. And when I started doing my first retablos, I broke a retablo in the Morada, and I had to replace it. It took me 3 days to make all the things, the ingredients, the colors. We painted with chicken feathers because there were no brushes. In those days, you didn't have that many things. Either you made it because there was nowhere else to buy it. And so I still, sometimes I forget there's a store and I make my own things, My grandmother was a taos Indian and her father was Apache. So I learned all the Indian ways mixed with the Spanish ways.
In the early days when the Spaniards came in this area, the men were always either plowing the fields, taking care of the animals, bringing wood, hunting, or finishing the houses. And they had no time whatsoever for the upkeep of the home. So the women took it over. And one of the feminine things that was done was the fireplaces.
When I started building my first fireplace in 1928, my grandmother had trained me already a few years before. But in 1928, she hurt her back. So I got up early in the morning and I went to work. The materials were already there. In those days, we only used adobe. It was just the natural resources that we had around. Working with adobe is like getting a spiritual uplift every day. You work so close to the earth, and then being a Catholic and practicing my religion, it gives me a lot of fulfillment and a lot of joy. And in this way,